Hi, this is Dr. Stina McKella. Earlier this week, we talked with Joel Salatin to get a farmer's perspective on how COVID-19 is affecting farmers. Today, I'd like to discuss how the COVID-19 situation is affecting restaurants. Instead of relying on headlines and news reports, I wanted to go directly to the source. So I reached out to the co-founder of Organic Krush, to Michelle Walrath, who agreed to join us today. Michelle is an inspiring leader in the health and wellness movement. She co-created several documentaries, including Fed Up, GMO OMG, and The Devil We Know. As a lifelong health advocate and mother of 4 children, Michelle was frustrated about the severe lack of healthy options on the go. She realized that parents were left with the choice of spending hours preparing food or settling for fast food that left them feeling tired, sluggish, and weighed down. So Michelle co-created Organic Krush, an all-organic lifestyle eatery with options ranging from organic breakfast to family dinners and even fully catered meals. With 6 Organic Krush locations, including Virginia and New York, Michelle is a leader in the wellness and fast food market. Welcome to the program, Michelle.
Thanks, Dr. Sina. That's such a flattering intro.
Yeah. So let's get right to it. With having a restaurant or multiple restaurant locations in New York, you're really in the thick of all of this, right? We're the city that COVID-19 has hit really hard. So I want to know, how has the COVID-19 situation affected your restaurant? How's business going?
It affected us and most restaurants really swiftly. It almost feels like it happened overnight, where we were reading about a looming crisis and then overnight it hit. I think, for better or for worse, Organic Krush took it really seriously from day one. The HR department for Krush said, I think this is gonna affect us, and we better move swiftly. So in early March, we went to a no contact system, and I think in some sense, doing it earlier, people looked at us a little weirdly that we were pick up and delivery only, and you weren't allowed to enter our doors anymore. But it also made people feel a little secure as the weeks went on, that were following a whole host of practices. I don't know if we can talk about it as the podcast goes on, but we've all learned a lot really fast, and it's been important to implement these really safe procedures. So that was good. We did that early. It's just been drastic. I mean, overnight sales dropped 70 and 80%. And there's, we're an eatery, so we're not a fine dining experience. Fine dining has had it worse than fast food casual. A lot of them, it's much harder to stay open. We already had a little bit of a to-go model working in our favor. So figuring out how to finesse that was an important part to do quickly, but we had the bones of it in place. Fine dining, that's been a tough one to watch. That's going to take a while to come back. But we were able to do a bunch of different pivots. But yeah, I mean, there's days where you just $300 in sales for an entire 9-hour day you're looking at, we kept all of our staff on, because to us in early March, it was way worse to think about furloughing and getting rid of people, when at some point you're going to need them all to come back. And to give a critical component for us was to help our staff feel secure from early on. So the procedures that we put in place, a lot of it had to do with making sure they felt like they were minimizing their chance of getting sick. But as much was giving them a community and a place to feel secure, that they had their little pot of people who would help keep them sane. And staying busy at a time like this is like really a saving grace.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it gives them a sense of purpose too.
Yeah.
Something that's more in their norm.
Yes, exactly.
Amongst all the chaos.
I get to work today, I'm going to perform, I'm going to contribute to something, be part of a team. We've had multiple employees say, like, thank goodness I can get out of the house and just be busy.
Yeah.
So
But on the flip side of that,
On a new dimension, but busy just sometimes means cleaning. I mean, our stores have never looked so sparkly clean. Every single thing has been scrubbed high and low, and vents and corners and paint jobs and all that.
Wow. Well, there's a silver lining right there. But still, I mean, only bringing in around $300 a day. I mean, you've got that's severely negative every single day. So
Yeah, that's definitely not ideal. But I think people's habits change so fast, where it used to be easy to jump in your car and grab a healthy coffee and a juice and a lunch. Your people are prioritizing differently. So we understand that it's a little scary for guests to, still come out and still go to their favorite restaurants. It's very meaningful to restaurants who are still open if people stick with their once, twice, 3 times a week pickup of a green juice or a bakery muffin or a takeout dinner. Just that kind of stuff is what's keeping the staff moving and motivated and keeping the food chain going. And so I can see it from both sides why people's habits would have changed so quickly. We do. The whole essential, non-essential business thing was an interesting conversation because some people were forced to have to close their doors, different kind of stores. Restaurants are considered essential. Organic Krush, we actually really consider that the food and fuel that you can put in your body during this time, that when it's immune boosting, when it's clean ingredients, when it's made really safely. Can I touch upon the different safety measures we're taking?
sure, that'd be fantastic, because that's one thing I wanted to address, is that I think there's quite a few people that are afraid to go out to the restaurants and pick up food because other people are preparing that food. And people can be asymptomatic, and what if they're coughing on the food or whatnot? So yeah, if you could.
And that's exactly how we're meant to be thinking. Like, you should be thinking about all the different ways that, we're trying to flatten that curve. And when we get takeout from some other local restaurants instead of Krush, we follow, distinct procedures that were recommended. So I totally get it. Because early on in March, it was taken really seriously by our company, we implemented stuff right away. So things like a temperature check when an employee walks in the door. Months ago, that wasn't legal to take your employee's temperature. But with the change and how fast people had to learn to pivot, we said we want to know, and we need to know, like, where our food touches other people. So temperature checks when employees walk in there are using like a digital scan, make sure that no one comes to work with a fever. If they were to have a fever, they're sent home with pay. That no one's pay gets docked ever during this time with the virus.
But you're saying now it's legal to take their temperatures?
Now it's legal. It became legal about maybe only 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago. So we started in early March knowing, like, our high production facilities, we wanted to make sure that everyone was safe for our own sake, for their sake, for their peers' sake, for our guests' sake. Wearing masks. So everybody wears a mask. The procedure is you walk in the door at work, you fully do the 20-second hand wash, you put a pair of gloves on, you put the mask on, you pinch the nose of the mask so it stays in place. And then every store is assigned someone from our executive team uniquely. So our president only goes to one location. Our HR executive goes to just one location, our director of operations, one location, I'm at one location, my partner's at one location. And we're like the watchdog, making sure that everyone's following the hand washing, the glove, the mask. There's no like dangling mask down at your chin. You wear the mask on your face if, there's a whole procedure that has to be followed. Every day the employees are given a free meal and free wellness and cold pressed juices so that they can keep their immunity strong. We send out employee newsletters every other day, every few days, giving them lots of tips for wellness, a lot of coping mechanisms, a lot of connections to grants and websites that are offering anxiety and stress reducing support. Like, it's the first time. First of all, we have time to do this now, right? Because we have sales aren't where they were. So right now we're thinking, okay, how can we solidify the teams that are working for us? So we give them every resource we come across and help make it easy for them to be able to apply for the grants and the things that are applicable during this emergency time. We've had a great result with the staff. We've lost minimal. Some people, if they had a new baby or if they had an elderly to take care of, they've taken a family medical leave. People have stayed so healthy, so supportive of each other. There's little like intercompany competitions for cooking cook-offs. And so everyone trades pictures and swaps stories and notes, little competitions about adventures outside on your days off. So little things like that have been really reinforcing as a team. Like we feel like we've got like 18 players at all the stores just contributing and they tell us they're so happy to have a chance to come to work. And so, yeah, so I think the safety measures, at this point, I think most restaurants, because they need to stay in business, they figured out the safety measures and they're really working hard to implement all the right moves. So, Organic Krush started early. Your bag gets stapled shut. It's handed to you. It's left on a table with a gloved hand, and then you just come to the door. You say your name, and you take your own bag to the car. When you get home, definitely feel free to take the food out of the bag, transfer it to a bowl. But we are 100% following every safety guideline. We eat our own food all day, so we want to make sure it's safe and pristine.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. I mean, that definitely makes me feel more at peace, more at ease about coming to do the curbside pickup. And I love the atmosphere that you've created there amongst the employees. I mean, because it's not just a place to work. It sounds like a family, like a whole support structure, like a support group. And
they're each other's pod to rely on right now. Like they're there to support each other, and they're doing such a phenomenal job.
Yeah, and as you're well aware, I mean, having that feeling of support and a sense of community is so critical for health and wellness. And right now, when we're all on lockdown, or most of us are on lockdown, it can feel very isolating.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I've heard people talk about they're going through stages of grief because they're not used to being so isolated. So I think that's fantastic because you really are, it's a lifestyle eatery, but you're applying that concept not just to how you relate to consumers, your customers, you're applying that concept to the team. Like you're living it at the same time that you're advertising it. So I think that's just phenomenal. I've not heard of things like that in a restaurant before. So I got goosebumps when you were talking about it.
Oh, thanks. It's not hard. It's so much fun to build the team and strengthen them and see they're so inspiring, the ideas they come up with. So not hard.
And you're doing something else that I just learned about that I'm very excited about that I think is so innovative. If you want to tell us about the baskets that you're starting next week.
Oh, yes. So it's been especially hard in New York, but I think it's been getting equally hard in Virginia to be able to get grocery kits, groceries delivered. And I think a lot of us are trying to avoid the grocery store to follow the distancing rules and the quarantine rules, stay-at-home rules. So we'll start putting together, as of next week, organic grocery kits, and we'll suggest to the guest a whole collection of ingredients and options to get you through a week. Eggs, all organic, eggs, broccoli, chicken, steak, really every kind of vegetable. Our vegetable and fruit list is like 200 items long. So we'll put together a suggested list, and then of course you can customize. We'll have an email address that is specific to be able to work with us to get your order. But I think it'll be really nice. You'll be able, my family can't get groceries delivered. So we're trying to time when we run to a grocery store. I was at my commissary working, so I bought some of my items yesterday when I was there: broccoli, cabbage, red peppers. I needed a few things to get through the next 2 nights of dinner. And so I think it'll be a nice offering to be able to just have a basket of grocery goodies, and we'll drop it at your front door, or we'll have it all nicely packaged up, and you can just pull right in front of our store, and curbside, it'll go right into your car.
Yeah, I think it's so innovative. And like you talked about, the restaurants, in large part, I think that are going to make it are the ones, like you said, that are able to pivot. They're able to adapt to the situation and come up with these innovative solutions. And I think that's brilliant because even here, I'm near the Richmond area, and I've been trying to order groceries delivered from Whole Foods through Amazon Prime, and it's been 2 weeks. And I can't get any delivery time slots. I refresh the computer throughout the day, every day. I can't get delivery time slots, and I can't even get a pickup time slot. So, I
feel very, very, very limited what you're supposed to do about food.
Yeah, and I order from Thrive Market, and my shipment was 14 days late in shipping it out because they're so overwhelmed at this point. And I know other places where you can get food, like I also get organic fruits and vegetables from Misfits Market. And right now, I just checked with them last week, and luckily my service has not been disrupted. At the most, it's like a day late and being delivered.
Okay.
What was that?
Not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is fantastic, especially because they're a newer company. But last week when I checked, if you're a new customer, it was going to take 1 month to get your first delivery.
Yes.
So there are a lot of the channels that most of us are used to going to get our food. They're being slowed down, or some of them are just being stopped. Like I know some local CSAs aren't even accepting new customers anymore because they can't keep up with the demand.
Yeah, and I feel their pain too. I'm a little jealous of all the business.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is a great way, so like I said, an innovative way for you to drum up some business, because you are a store that we can trust. You are an all organic store. So and we know you have credibility in that market space, so we're not going to question the produce or the meats that we get from your store.
Stickers on it, and you realize how maybe spoiled we are, but how dependent we become on that high quality of food. The organic apple you want to serve, the organic bananas, the organic almond, no sugar almond milk, and there's certain things that make up your life, and it's nice to be able to access them. So hopefully it's a good service for guests, and hopefully it does some good business for us.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely come by and pick up my little gift bag. That'd be great. And then I also saw on your website that you're doing something to give back to the community, another business innovative idea that helps you as well as the community. So if you want to tell us a little bit about that and how we as consumers and customers can help with that effort.
Yeah, that's so nice of you to point out. So like so many people, my twin sister and my younger sister both work in hospitals. My partner's sister works in a hospital, and my aunt, who I'm super close with, runs a floor in a hospital. So it was like 3 weeks ago when we were like, here we are feeling a little bad for ourselves about business being so down, but like there's people who are reporting to work and they're in really precarious situations and they're working 24/7. So we literally just dropped off lunch for the people we knew. We put together wraps and bakery and juices. And then one of our customers, I think we put a message on our Facebook that just said, small deed today, but felt good to serve our sisters or something like that. And then a guest called and was like, well, I have friends who are working on, I don't even think they were being called the front lines yet, right? That like beautiful term came up a little later. And she said, I want to buy 4 deliveries, 4 different hospitals. And so that week, each store on Long Island took a different hospital, and they packaged lunch for 20 people at each of the different hospitals. And then the nurses and doctors would send us a picture, be like, you made our day. And they'd be holding up the wellness shot. And then literally we couldn't stop the guests from wanting to get in on it. So some customer who was an original at our Woodbury store, which is 5 years, he wrote an email and he said, I saw you were doing this. I want to drop off a check this morning when I come for my juice. and he handed us a check to be able to buy another 20 round of lunches.
Wow.
So then we said, okay, it's not like amazing margins for us to produce food right now. The pricing on vendors has had to go up, and so many costs are just being affected. But we said this is keeping our staff busy. Everyone was getting like teary-eyed packing the lunches. They felt so good about being a part of it. Then the food was flowing again. So like the food that we thought was going to go to waste, then we're like, we have a reason to use it. And then we would post the pictures and more people would be like, I want to donate. So suddenly all that triggered this amazing cycle. We put up a GoFundMe page maybe 10 days ago, and it's at $11,000. So people just started sending donations. And as of this morning, so we have the GoFundMe page. We have this newsletter incentive. If you send our newsletter sign up to any family or friends, anyone who signs up, we donate a meal in that person's name. And we have, when you call our store, you place an order online, you can just hit the donate a meal button, and for $20, it buys a doctor, a nurse lunch, a wrap, a juice, and a bakery item. And so people had already donated in 2 days, $3,000 worth of $20 meals to the nurses and doctors. So as of this morning, I think we had served 800 meals in like 2 weeks. The driver, our COO and our president of our company and our director of operations just drive all day delivering to different hospitals. And then with the 11,000 on GoFundMe now, over the next 2 weeks, we'll spend it and hopefully we'll just keep getting donations. It's literally like a revolving circle of love. The donation comes in. We called hospitals on today's Friday, yesterday, and said, would you like food for 100 people? And they don't even know what that's in, that they like get so excited. They're like, what? You're going to just drop off? And other restaurants are doing it too. It's just that we have pretty like our coveted wellness shots and gluten-free bakery and organic, meals. It's such a gift. So yeah, so that's been a really rewarding experience. The staff writes these beautiful handwriting notes to the nurses and doctors, thanking them. And it's been great.
That's so fantastic. I mean, like I said, so innovative. And I think Organic Krush in particular is positioned so well to do that type of like community outreach, because particularly those people on the front line, we need to keep their immunity in top shape. And they need the clean food, like you said, these wellness shots and whatnot that, which by the way, if anyone is not familiar, these are cold pressed juices. They're not actual shots.
We're not giving the doctors and nurses vodka to get through their shift.
Yes. They have a whole selection of all these cold pressed juices made with like fresh vegetables and fruits and herbs. I've tried them all. They're phenomenal. So this is the kind of food that it would be the most beneficial for these frontline workers. So
yeah, I think hydration and immune boosting foods, a lot of vegetables, a lot of high fiber, I think that stuff is critically tied always. But when you're at a time where your body's defenses need to be boosted, I think that hydration and the high dose of vegetables with all the antioxidants is so critical in keeping the immune system up and running.
Yeah. So what's the GoFundMe page? Like, how can somebody find it?
Oh, it's just so GoFundMe.com, and then you just search Organic Krush.
Organic Krush.
And it comes right up.
Okay. And it's Organic, and Krush is with the K, Krush, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's fantastic. And then I want to wrap this up with some positive solutions, because I know a lot of consumers like myself, we're a little wrapped up in our own struggles and challenges right now. But I wanted to bring awareness that it's good to reach out and help the restaurants, like our favorite restaurants, for instance. So whether it be Organic Krush or, your favorite local restaurant, I just wanted to try to kind of put a message out there that let's try to think of those restaurants and think of how we can help them, so that when this is over and we're out of lockdown and we're able to go to restaurants again, those restaurants will still be in business and we can still frequent them again. So what are some of the ways that consumers can help Organic Krush, and maybe that will give them some ideas of how they can help their favorite restaurant?
Well, I think leaving positive reviews on Facebook, and I don't think Google's accepting reviews right now, but Facebook and Yelp, I think really just, besides like a morale boost for the restaurant and the staff themselves, it just helps them solidify their standings. We know how important Yelp and Facebook have become in people finding and choosing restaurants. Yelp, TripAdvisor, Facebook. So anything nice you can say about restaurants, your favorite restaurants right now? Organic Krush for sure would appreciate it. Signing up for restaurants newsletter. We have a great newsletter where once or twice a week we just share immune boosting tips, healthy tips. We communicate with any policies and procedures that have changed. So when we had to quickly overnight go to pickup and delivery only, when these grocery baskets come out. So signing up for our newsletter, it's on our website at the bottom of the page, but that is really rewarding for us to see people that want to stay engaged and communicate. We promise we don't overwhelm, we just share good information. And same for social media. We started a Krush in the Kitchen series where we run a 2-minute video each day showing an immune boosting recipe you can do in your own kitchen. Next week, we'll focus on college kids, and kids are, who are now suddenly at home a lot, teaching them a bunch of immune boosting things to make for themselves. So any kind of following on Facebook and Instagram is so nice because it lets us see that people are caring what we're saying. We have all these nice conversations with people responding to things. Facebook, we share some pretty like cutting edge information that we're reading about in terms of immunity. And the hospital donations are lovely. That makes the staff feel great to see those coming in. It keeps them busy writing notes and producing the food. So that part is great. But yeah, that was a great question. I think restaurants definitely, most people who go into restaurants go into it for a passion for serving people and their love of food. So that passion is still there for most of us. We've just had to learn how to pivot it and how to readjust and be creative. So we're going to be here when this is over, but any kind of love and support now is so appreciated.
That's fantastic. And now what about gift cards? Would buying gift cards from restaurants help?
Yeah, so that just helps restaurants cash flow. We're all trying to meet our payrolls. I don't think most places have received their government grants and loans yet for the payroll protection. So we're offering gift cards. Any gift card above $50, we give 20% off. So if you're going to spend anyway at Organic Krush, it's actually a great deal. But it certainly helps us for someone to buy a $50 and $100 gift card and just boost the sales that day and helps keep that payroll covered.
That's fantastic. Yeah, because we buy gift cards for ourselves since we come to Organic Krush a lot. But also a good idea to give them as gifts. As
right.
A show of love to somebody that, here's a gift card that will give you this healthy, healing food.
Mother's Day is coming up. Father's Day is coming up.
Yeah.
Memorial Day. We'll buy them for Memorial Day.
And Easter this Sunday. No, that's fantastic. So, and a little bit of good news too, at least at this point, you're still planning next year, right, to open 3 new restaurants?
Yes, we had hoped to open 3 this summer, 2 in Connecticut and 1 out east on Long Island in New York. But now we've pushed that until 2021. But we had signed leases and we have, we were working on the health permit. So hopefully we'll still be able to do that next year.
That would be fantastic. So Connecticut, they're coming to you soon. Well, Michelle, I know you're busy, so I'll wrap up here, but thank you for taking the time to give us the perspective from a restaurant owner who's in the thick of it all, and for giving us some hope and some positive solutions of how the consumer can help so that we can keep our favorite restaurants in business. I appreciate your efforts.
Thank you for asking such insightful, profound questions.
Oh, you're so welcome. So anyways, thank you for joining us, and we hope that you all have a fantastic day. We'll see you on the next podcast and next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.